because if you just push, you're putting extra pressure on her belly, and she probably will not like the way that feels. So hold on to the tube with your thumb and index finger, and then black line to black line, push down, that opens the valve. Then to lock it, you're turning it in the direction of the arrow, or righty-tighty, and you can turn it anywhere from halfway up to 3/4 of the way, and you're gonna feel it stop at 3/4. That's sort of a reminder not to push beyond that point, because you could break the valve that way. She's doing overnight feeds, and kids, people move around when they sleep, so we want to avoid this.
Yeah.
Every time she turns and moves over, turns around. So take the tape, wrap it around the extension set, make little tabs so you can peel them off if you need to. Take a small safety pin. I only have big ones, but you can use a very, very small one. And you can either pin this to her jammies, and I would make sure I'm giving it a little slack. So here's the idea. See, so I turn over, this is coming with me, and it's not pulling, it's taking the pressure off the site. Now, you can also accomplish the same thing without the safety pin. You could take this tape, which is pretty strong, and I would, again, give it a little slack, give it a little loop, and then you're not poking holes in her clothes. And this tape will not hurt clothes. And same thing, see, it's going to protect it. So whenever she's connected, loop it, secure it, then we don't have to worry about it getting pulled and tugged on. And so now she's hooked up, and I'm hitting run on the pump. So in the morning when the pump beeps, I'm done, and we're going to take her off, but we still need to flush the tube, just like with the NG tube. So you'll take your flush syringe, and how much are you flushing with now? 5, 10 of water?
Let me see it.
That's a 10 milliliter syringe. Here's a 5 milliliter syringe.
5.
Okay, so anywhere from 5 to 10 is fine, and it really doesn't matter the size.
Okay.
Either of those would work. Same water, so I'm gonna pretend if I put water in him, it will probably come out of his little bolts.
Okay.
So I'm gonna pretend I have water, so I'm filling it to 5. I've turned the pump off. Here's the difference. I have a clamp. Before, you had to pinch that connection when you took the feeding bag out, so that you had to do this so it wouldn't drip on you. Well, now you have a built-in clamp. So close the clamp, nothing will back up. Take the feeding connection out. Close the big port, because you're going to use the little one to flush. Open the port. Again, nothing backs up because your clamp is closed. Attach your water. Open the clamp. Push that water through. You're flushing it. Close your clamp. You're done, and now we're going to take it off. So to remove it, so I turned it to the right or in the direction of the arrow to lock it. Now I'm going to go opposite to unlock it. So lefty-loosey or counterclockwise. I brought it back to the 2 black lines. Again, hold tube while you pull it out. So whenever you're connecting and disconnecting extension set, always hold on to the tube when you do it. Feeding cover goes right back on. She's done. She's all set. And these extension sets, because they're made out of silicone, you can actually wash them, and you can use dish liquid soap on them. Home care companies typically give you about 4 of these every month. That means you would use it for a week, and then you'd throw it away. So to clean it, you can take it, right to the sink, and just use this. Little bit of dish liquid soap. It does not matter what brand. And who is it? Chop Home Care? Is that your home care company? So do you have any of these? Okay, so these work great. So just take one of your big syringes, warm soapy water, attach it to the side where it's going to fit, so that would be the big one. That means I'll close the little one. And right into the sink. And then to get the soap out, just turn on your warm water and hold the port under that faucet, and look, it pushes the soap out. And you can also, you could just soak it if you wanted to too, but you can easily just push the warm soapy water through it. And then let it air dry on a paper towel or a clean dish towel, and then it's ready to use again that night. So if you get 4 per month, you will use it for a week and throw it away. So that's the extension set you'll be using at home. And again, anything that's on a syringe for flushing medicine is the side port, and then the bigger one is for the feeding bag, or one of these catheter tip syringes that will also fit on there. Now, there's another extension set that you'll get when you get your supplies delivered, and I just want to show it to you. You will probably never need to use it, but I just want to explain what it is. This one is called a venting extension set, and it's used for kids who have trouble getting trapped gas out of their stomach, otherwise known as burping. So if she can burp, then you will never need to do this. But there are some kids that do have difficulty and their bellies get kind of distended and they get uncomfortable. So in order to relieve the pressure, we can open up the tube and let the air escape that way. So I'm kind of assuming, given why you have the tube, that you will not need to do this. Basically, if she can burp and her belly is not distended, you will never need to do this. But it doesn't hurt to try. If she's uncomfortable, if she's feeling nauseous, if she feels like she might throw up, or you're noticing that her belly is just kind of big and kind of hard. And we call it venting. So this is the extension set for venting. And I also need the catheter tip syringe. So to vent, I'm going to close the clamp first, attach the extension set the same way. So there's a black line on this one as well. Hold the tube, line it up, push straight down, and then turn it to lock it. And then take the plunger out of the catheter tip syringe all the way, because I'm going to use the barrel, that's this part. And I'm attaching it to the open end, and I'm going to hold it upright. And then holding it above her belly, when you're ready, you open the clamp. And if she has trapped gas in her tummy, you're going to hear it come out. It's going to sound like little gurgles, hissing, or bubbly sounds. Just keep this open for a couple of minutes. This is sort of like a quick fix. Imagine that you're creating a chimney and air will rise. So if there is trapped gas in there, you've just created a little place for it to escape out. When you no longer hear the sound, or she says, oh, yeah, I feel a lot better, thank you, Mom, then you're done. So it's meant to just be for a minute or two. Sometimes fluid from the stomach will back up and sit in the syringe, which is why you have it there to begin with. If the fluid does not go back down on its own, you may take the plunger. Give the tiniest little push on top. That's just enough pressure to then watch the fluid go back down. When you no longer see the fluid, close your clamp. And then I'm ready to take off the syringe and the extension set. So I like to take them off in pieces because I think it's easier. So syringe comes off, then again, turn it lefty-loosey or counterclockwise back to those black lines. Hold, pull, cover. So if you use this one, you wash it the same way that you wash the other one. So helping to get the gas out versus this is the one, 99.9% of the time that you'll be using for feeding and flushing. The balloon has a certain amount of water in it, and there are different size tubes. So she has a 14 French tube, and Dr. Blinman put the recommended amount of water in there, which is 4 milliliters. The reason why you want to know that is that over time, some of the water can start to evaporate. So if I've got water that has started to evaporate, what's happening to my balloon?
Getting smaller.
Getting smaller. So if the balloon is one of the ways that the tube is being held in place, if it's getting smaller, that tube is going to start wiggling. It's going to move in and out of the opening, and whatever's in her stomach has the opportunity to leak out, which can then, because there's acid in her stomach, it can cause skin irritation. So if you are ever seeing that the tube is moving or leaking fluid, check the water in the balloon. If you're not seeing leaking or movement, assume it's fine and do not check it. To check the water in the balloon, I need water, and this does not need to be sterile water. It can be whatever water you drink. And you need this syringe, which looks very much like a flush syringe that you could have at home. But flush syringes are designed not to fit on balloon valves. So this is a specialized syringe. It's called a slip tip. And where you will find it is in a kit that you will get from CHOP Home Care. CHOP Home Care will ship you a whole G-tube kit. And if you need to check the water in the balloon, it's okay to open that kit and take the syringe out. So you would open the box, there would be a paper cover over the tray. You're just going to peel it back, and there is the syringe. So when you're done using it, wash it, dry it, stick it back into the kit, because that might be the only one you have until the next time you get a delivery. So here is that slip tip, and here's the water. It is important when you're doing this that she not wiggle or move. So if she can cooperate, great. If you're worried about her moving, then I would see if someone can hold the tube for you while you check the water. So I'm going to hold on to the tube. I'm going to gently insert the tip of the syringe into the balloon valve. You do not have to push hard. And then you can watch it. See, it'll come back all by itself because of the pressure in the balloon. You may also gently pull back on the plunger, but when the plunger stops moving, that's how much water you have. So you'll read your syringe. So come over here and tell me how much water I have in that balloon.
3.
Okay, so how much am I supposed to have?
Well, 4. So you
Good.
need 1.
So what I'm going to do is
Put it back in.
put it back in, because you don't want to leave that tube without any water. And then I'm going to add 1 more to get it back to where it's supposed to be. And that should take care of the leaking. Now, because air evaporates faster than water, hold your syringe up, tap and push out the air, so that we just have water in the syringe. So I have 1 more milliliter of water. Now see the pressure, it'll start to come back right away. So you're going to push it in. When you're done pushing, keep your finger on the plunger while you twist the syringe, and that will release it from the valve without the water coming back out again. And then check it. And if it's back to baseline, okay, now that's the way it's supposed to fit. This is the way it normally looks. Then you're fine. If it leaked and her skin looks red or irritated, of course, gently clean it, dry it, and then put either no sting barrier all around the irritated part, or Vaseline, or A&D ointment, or Desitin, or Balmex, like any of those diaper creams, Aquaphor, any of that stuff. Just around the skin every day until the redness goes away, and then you can stop using it. If you're not having a problem with the tube, if it's not loose or leaking, do not even check the water. It's only if it's loose or leaking. There is a maximum amount of water the balloon can hold, and that's 5 milliliters. So let's say you were having a problem with it and you check the water, but you have the right amount in there. You have 4. You can go up to 5. So you could take your syringe, add 1 more milliliter to it, but